Oh dear, it looks like my mic was off for a bit. And I guess you can hear me there, Mr. Squirrel Dude. I did a
I
whole lot
can
of
hear
talk.
you.
You can, yes. But now everybody else can hear me too. So that's pretty embarrassing. That's what happens when you get up early in the morning after not enough sleep to come over and watch a dwarf mirror. You forget to do some of the button pushing that you need to do to make your voice come out correctly. Anyway, let's start over. It's the Blitz Pit. We were watching dwarfs play more dwarfs, and they're wearing the same kit just to make things even better for us. This is the loser's bracket game. Loser this match is out. The winner of this match is one game away from the money, I believe, is how that works. Uh, Jim's team, a pretty normal looking dwarf team. Another thing we didn't mention is that he's got a third reroll. He's got plenty of leftover TV by not having the death roller. Kolian's got a pretty bare bones team except for the death roller, just because it's 160k. That's more than two Longbeards.
He has a third reroll here only because he won it on the kickoff. Otherwise, he'd be
Oh,
down to
did he?
2, and that's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, I thought he had three to start
Colleen's
with.
been.
My bad.
So yeah. Him to maybe win like 4 more rerolls, as the Hoily Boy game was any indication. Lots and lots of rerolls for the dwarfs.
Well, they really need him. Jim has no fame. Kolian only has the +1. That's usually enough.
In this matchup right now, every removal is going to be pretty important, though KOs aren't really that bad with the double, with the Jim looking rightly to get 2 chances to get them back.
You don't really
And since
expect. Sorry. We've had
Kolian's
one.
already going to lose the death roller anyway, right? So
Right.
it's not too huge.
Yeah, we've had one KO, but you don't expect to see too many of those when everybody is thick skull.
No, I think they're actually less likely than casualties overall.
I think so. They're definitely less
Yeah, it's
likely than
5
they
out
would
of
be
36
normally.
versus it's 4 out of 36 for them to get KO'd versus a 6 out of 36 to get cast. If my head math is right with those no mighty blow, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to actually do the math right now in my head. I'm sure I know what the answer is already, and I'm sure I could work it out, but it's early in the morning and I'm watching a whole lot of dwarfs. We do appreciate all of you people over in the stream chat hanging out and watching the game with us. If for some reason this does not appeal to you, there are 3 other games going on. There are 8 coaches left in the Blitz Pit that have not been eliminated. And you can watch all 3 of those games. You can watch them all on Twitch right now. You could watch all 4 games at once on multi-Twitch just by typing everybody's name in there. And you could be watching 3 exciting games and a dwarf mirror all at once, all on one little monitor of yours. You could watch them all on your phone if your eyes were really good. Things will narrow down pretty quickly. There will be 2 more coaches eliminated in this round. One is the loser of this game, of course. We'll be watching one more game in the loser's bracket after this one, and then going on break. There'll be the last few rounds will be played later on tonight, starting at 1800 UTC. So we will get some recovery time too.
Jim has rolled some 1-9 to start the match, but it's been some AV9 teams punching each other with only 55% chance to get a knockdown. So
yeah, I haven't
pushes
even
both
really,
downs.
yeah, I haven't even really been looking all that closely at what's happening. Dwarfs are just blocking each other. It hasn't yet turned into the sort of strategic mess that dwarfs can sometimes do. It's just opening turns of a little bit of skirmishing. Death Roller has opened up and could even blitz one of these runners here.
The runner is not an unlikely target here. He gets though it risks the Death Roller becoming kind of way up the field. Maybe he just goes for the Troll Slayer instead.
All right, that's what he's done. 1 armor 8 piece is as good as another. The runner does not have block, of course, so he's a little easier to knock down. But when you can hit somebody with 3 dice pretty much every turn, it's not so bad. if they have block.
Roller isn't going to be taking both down anyway, considering, you know, I mean, we'll take both down for the push probably, but that's so.
Yeah, well, he's
Lack of block
blitzing.
isn't a
Yeah.
huge deal. Yeah.
So he's got
The
Juggernaut.
only advantage is that it makes the blitz slightly. Doesn't he make the blitz safer? Does it? I was gonna say it makes it slightly safer from getting knocked down, but that's not true with Juggernaut. So, not to go after the Troll Slayer there.
And it certainly keeps him in a better long-term position, standing
Dwarf
up with
1Ds coming in.
all his other dwarfs in the area, rather than isolated up the field. But it's always nice to remove a runner. Although, again, Jim has the second one, so it's not it's not so bad if he loses one. And they're both rookies, so it's if Jim is going to lose one, I don't think he cares which.
Can put a little bit of pressure on the ball here with the blitz on this Longbeard by his blitzer, and maybe bring the runner down into infiltrate. But I don't know. Actually, be looking for that.
No, it doesn't look like there's really anything exciting on. Just get some guys, on top of the other dwarfs and make some 2 dice blocks and hope for the best. And yes, we do have the skills turned off. I can tell you that's just because everybody's guard, and that's about it. And it looks a little silly when you turn the skills on. The 2 Troll Slayers have Mighty Blow, and everybody else just assume they have guard. There are a couple of Longbeards that are rookies. They're kind of stuck over here. They're surrounded by guards, but they're more the exception than the rule. Oh,
wow! Jim was just going for a straight 5-up.
Interesting.
Don't know if he meant that. If he meant that to be a 5+ dodge, but he wanted to go for it. Gets the. I mean, he's.
Well, he did. Well, it was definitely blitzing, so I'm sure he did that on purpose. That's a little rowdier.
I mean, I'm not sure he realized that was a dodge on, but it's extremely aggressive.
Yeah, it's rowdier than Jim would normally play. But even with that guy on the ground now, it does mean Kolian needs to shift around somewhere.
Yeah.
Or he can just.
We saw this with the werewolves yesterday, where once the werewolf just kind of got back behind, it's really annoying for Kolian because he doesn't really want to be forming a cage right now in this kind of matchup. It's a nice little angle screen, so we can keep playing like 10-on-10 with a death roller to keep kind of even strength in that way.
Right. If he's got 5 men in a cage, that means he's playing like 11 against 6 over here. He does have plenty of players that he could just run forward up the right side, just mark these guys that are down, and have like a little bit of a screen. Well, it is turn 4, so I don't think it's necessarily premature to get forward either.
Oh, this is about when he probably wanted to look for it. Next turn would probably be the latest point he'd want to be looking at getting at least to midfield or maybe a square or 2 past midfield.
Well, it looks like he wants to just swing backwards because he's kind of moved some other players away. Oh, no, maybe not. Okay, he's gonna go right at the middle here. Well, this is a blitzer. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, this is pretty solid, pretty safe. He's got nobody behind him. The runner's got nothing but clear blue sky ahead. And suddenly,
a little risky. I think the runner could get around and get in front, but I don't know how. The death roll is going to get in there, so should be okay.
The death roller with stand firm shuts down most possible chain pushes as well. And all of a sudden, it looks like Jim's just way out of position, and it doesn't really feel like he's done anything too crazy other than just a little 5+ dodge there. But all his men are tied up on the left there. And
that removal is a rare non-guard. Just gonna make sure to point that out. So
yeah, well, he doesn't belong. He doesn't fit in.
Oh.
Yeah, frankly, if they're going to start changing the rules of Blood Bowl, they should just make it so that dwarfs without guard get removed more easily anyway, because they don't deserve to be on their teams.
don't have Thick Skull.
Hmm.
So it's actually a free skill they get as soon at 6-0 at level 2.
Yeah.
As soon as they get guard, they get Thick Skull for free.
Yeah, that would work for me. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
As kind of a balance thing, right? Because dwarfs are just a little too strong at TB 1000. So if they started with no thick skull, that would solve all those problems for me.
Maybe 9 or tackle spam that ruins teams for the next 200 next 400 team value. It's just Thick Skull.
Yeah, well, I mean
Game.
we're talking GW here, so
Yeah.
that's the kind of logic they would go by. All right, Jimmy's
Interesting dwarf 1D there. Didn't get a POW, didn't get a removal, which is pretty shocking result.
now he's gonna try and block in with the runner to get into the ball, or just dodge around and get back. Or is he not sure? With 3 seconds left, he's got to do something. And he's just going to throw a 1-die. And
It's
the
the
Troll
night blow
Slayer,
off of him, at least.
on the
I don't know if
ground, he's going to stay.
Yeah. Kolian will probably be liking to foul in the next 2 turns when the Death Roller's out of position and isn't really going to be relevant for the next turns. But I'm not sure he'll be able to get a good foul, because it looks like there's going to be enough pressure on his score that he's going to have to kind of stay focused on that. And, random actions fouling.
Yeah, and you do need to knock somebody down and get them a little bit away from the rest of their team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to be straightforward. The gym has collapsed back on this cage here, and it's... I mean, you can still run forward and outrun most of these dwarfs. But the blitzers are in good spots. They're the 2 deepest players, and then the runner. So it's not easy for kolian to outrun these guys, and he's lost a reroll.
Yeah, the blitzers do make it a bit trickier here for Kolian, because he can't so easily just run away here, compared to if these sides were equal. Jim would probably be a much easier runaway with all the only defense piece that Kolian would have had would be
Control
a
Slayer.
runner. Everything else would just be kind of stuck, right?
Yep. Well, now he can run to the right because he was able to knock down 1 blitzer, and he can kind of get just about out of range. It's still possible to knock down both of these guys. Death Roller
And
knocks
oh
himself
boy.
over. That's gonna make it a little easier for Jim. It's not super straightforward, but he can still clear at least one of these 2 players and get somebody back to base the ball, or he can just double skull. And kolian won't feel too bad about scoring a little early. I mean, sure, he'd like to take a few more turns and foul people with the Death Roller, but he's probably not too worried about a 2-turn dwarf response. Won't want to give him 3. They do have plenty of agility 3.
Yeah, 2-turn isn't off the cards for Jim here. So that 1 in 9 hurts a lot. That 1 in 9 makes it a lot harder to get anyone there, and there's now no one really going to get up to the field to pressure that score at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, none of these guys are able to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so this runner is still theoretically capable of catching the ball almost anywhere.
It's been pretty aggressive with these dwarf dodges near the end of turns, just to go ahead and go for him. I don't hate it.
No, well, that one seemed fine. I mean, what else was he going to do? But 5+ dodges are not working out to everyone's surprise. And we've seen a lot of dwarf KOs as well. All these thick skulls not being thick enough. You're going to want to knock this runner over. I guess maybe the blitz is to take this long beard on the ground and blitz the runner. That gives you a chain to clear your other guy, and if you can knock the runner over, get him to where he can't reach the ball carrier, then you have a nice, comfortable stall for another turn. We've also freed up this Longbeard, who can come in and help screen things off a little bit. So Kolian's got a pretty comfortable shot at stalling another turn or two. Yeah, that's
Because there aren't great for that. He's going to reroll it, and that's probably the right call. And you can't push this runner out to where it's just a dodge and a very easy block for the runner to immediately, and the blitzer for that matter, to immediately be up the field,
right.
pressuring when you can't get back there to really stop it, because he's just going to
Well,
stand up all his players to tie you up.
you would have another block at the runner if you push him, right? Because he'd push the runner.
No, there's no. He would have he'd lose 2 assists.
Well, no, you would push the runner up into your own Longbeard, who hasn't moved yet. Longbeard comes up
Oh,
back this way, and then suddenly this Kraraz Longbeard is an assist, and then you have a 2D block on the runner backwards with your Longbeard that you've just pushed.
maybe I think it might only be a 1 die though. Third assists there, so you'd have to push one of them away, and so it would almost certainly be a 1D.
Well, maybe I'm reading it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
early in the morning still, and I'm easily confused. But rerolling it for the knockdown has worked out fine. Uh-oh. I guess you're... Oh, not going to reroll that.
That's Jim conceding the score, and he's going to save the reroll for some 1-turn attempt, or I don't know what he's really saving it for at that point, because
Yeah.
you're not getting to a 2-turn attempt.
Yeah,
You're not
going to...
1-turning with dwarves.
Right, and you're not forcing him to score next turn. For just about a perfect half for Colin. He's got everything he's wanted. A nice 8-turn stall. He's KO'd a couple of Longbeards. One of them or two may even come back. But I guess with 2 KO rolls, you'd expect them probably both to come back more likely than anything else. But he hasn't lost anybody on his side, just 1 KO. And the pressure is on Jim to respond in the second half.
Score here, we're looking at a very likely overtime game. So, ready for 24 turns to dwarfs.
Yeah. And it looks like the Death Roller won't get to foul anybody. Unless Colin's feeling super rowdy and wants to do it on turn 8. But I think that's even a little bit too much. That's a lot too much.
Yeah, Jim's next turn is probably just maybe a blitz or 2. Stand up maybe. Not much for him here. So.
Yeah.
Or
I
he
guess,
can't force, it doesn't matter though.
I guess you can try and hit the Troll Slayer with a blitz. Mighty Blow on armor 8. And looks like that's what he's setting up, is to blitz this fellow.
A 1 into a 2.
Yeah, well, that's all you got, really. Colin will take whatever blocks he can find, which is a little bit easier because he's got more guys standing up. And he'll score, and we'll have to go into the second half and see what happens. I'm going to go abandon you for about 30 seconds and refill my coffee, but I will be right back.
No problem. At this point, Kolian is just going to be rolling some blocks on guard guys anyway, just to try and get some hit guard pieces, because I don't think you're going to go after random Lionbeards or random non-skilled players. Just want to get the unskilled guys off the field, get the skilled guys off the field to give you a better shot. Just go 1 in 1296 against some random guy with nothing on him.
All right, did I miss anything exciting?
Blocks were thrown and there were no armor breaks,
Okay.
so no.
So totally shocking. Hey, guess what? I forgot, not just this morning, but all day yesterday.
I don't know. I
Uh,
probably brought it too.
I forgot to turn the Blitz Pit logo on my stream screen, and there it is
I
now.
wasn't watching it, so it's not
That's
my
okay.
fault.
Nobody was. I wasn't really watching it either. I was too busy streaming. But hey, there it is. That lightning bolt soccer football. And now you can tune in and you know what you're watching, because otherwise, how would you? We're looking at a dwarf mirror. It could be CCL. Who would know? But finally, after 6 hours of watching Blitz Pit games, it's finally clear. So Jim will have his one turn to take some blocks. Maybe he'll get a riot, and then he'll have 2 turns to take some blocks, and that's about it. 3 for 3 on KO wake ups. So we've got 2 full teams again. Death Roller, of course, we won't be seeing him anymore. But he was effective for the half that he played.
At this point, it's just gonna be Gem doing the same thing kolian did.
Right.
Generating blocks, attempting some kind of removal strategy. If he goes for 1 turn here, I would be shocked.
No, he's not
And
going
in
to.
Dwarves, this is not a 1 turn setup.
This is an
Really, the
all
Dwarves want to have
man's.
2 frenzy anyway.
This is to put 11 guys on the line of scrimmage because you're dwarfs and fuck you. Oh, just a little bit too late. We got a bribe. You're the fouling expert. Does fouling get any better when you're playing against dwarfs now that you have a bribe? And your own
Yeah, no,
pieces
bribes are
are.
really, really swingy and how important they are because they make it, they make your team value that you're potentially losing, basically 1/6 of that value. So it's really good. It's really impactful.
All right, well, that makes sense mathematically. It's still not
Yeah.
likely to do a whole lot.
Great fouls are still garbage.
Yeah.
Because you effectively risk losing that great bribe advantage to make those fouls good, and you're likely getting nothing. You're very likely to get nothing. Valuable. A KO is only valuable half the time. A casualty at this point is probably half the time is getting Apo to keep numbers. Like there's very little that they're going to do for you.
So do you hold on to it maybe even for overtime? You start fouling people on turn 17 when
Second half is okay for it because you are going to be you want to get men up, try and get a numbers advantage, try and score, right? It just doesn't do anything for you now. But yeah, it'd be fine to have it in overtime. I think overtime though, you're so often entirely on getting the ball, and since fouls can get you out of position from that, you maybe don't go for it in those situations either.
all right.
So I think second half is an okay spot for it.
And it's probably a little easier for the defending team to go for fouls.
Yeah. Defending teams usually just because they can
afford to get
choose to
guys
get
out of
themselves out of
position.
position once
Right.
if they know you're going to stall, they just kind of like don't care. They're like, fine, you can have that side of the field. We'll just run back over to it and threaten you to score, and then while you're busy taking your sweet time. I've been pointing out the weather is very sunny because dwarf passing isn't real.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think to look. And the cyanide interface makes it not obvious that the weather is very sunny.
Not a nice Blood Bowl weather day,
Yeah.
well, I think one is like sun and one is sun with clouds.
Yeah, and the one with clouds is actually the better one.
Yeah.
And also, I think the graphic has some of the clouds behind the sun because that's how clouds work. Oh, look! Ooh, you really. That's a scary one. Can you afford to eat that? I guess you can. The short kick is terrifying.
Yeah, the
But
short kick makes that a bit scarier, especially when kolian does have a good runner on the team that can get around these blitzers without tackle.
well, the runner's
So
off a little bit far away.
You just don't want him to get around the ball because it's going to be hard for you to get your free or long beards up to really go deal with them. Because
Yeah.
kolian just kind of base in and make this all pretty swampy.
Right, but if you're Jim, you're basically playing for overtime at this point because you're not scoring twice. So using a reroll right away is not something you want to do either.
We've also seen Jim just eat a double skulls on turn 1 many times in his Blood Bowl career. He tends to do that pretty consistently. Jim is one of the coaches you'll see most likely to have a turn 16
Mm-hmm.
of a game that isn't going to overtime, just because it's not critical. He's not going to reroll it.
Yeah, I think almost any good coach will. Their first instinct on a block like that on turn 9 is to eat it, and the times you don't is when the ball is not safe. And right here, it's kind of borderline. The kolian can't actually get to it, but he can get a lot of guys really close and make it very difficult for Jim. I guess you're not really in a hurry. If it takes a couple of turns to recover from this, that's not the worst thing in the world.
It is also important to remember that because kolian actually only has 2 rerolls, Jim burning rerolls and losing a reroll advantage into a potential overtime is more dangerous now than it would have been in the first half when they were even.
Yes.
So now he's not just trading. Oh, I'm going to be down a reroll. Is actually giving up. So
right, you're giving up reroll for 16 turns instead of 8, and also a little bit of theoretical equity if the game were to go to penalty kicks. There is one kolian dwarf basing the ball. Shouldn't be that hard to clear. If you stand this player up.
It should be relatively simple.
Yeah, you can even maybe blitz with the runner diagonally, and there are like 18 different chain push options to get more players free. This is a little safer, of course, just pushing the guy out of the way. And now you can pick the ball up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take a step backwards, and you have a big line of dwarfs. Of course, you're in more contact right now than you'd like to be, but Jim can take a lot of blocks and start getting people a little bit away. Maybe after he picks the ball up.
4 turns of dice so far, a couple of the dub skulls and a lot of pushes right now, which isn't really what you're looking for in this. You'd love some palsters to give you a bit more breathing room.
Maybe after he picks the ball up, Jim is going to think about GFIing a bit to the right. Just to get a little extra safe. That's the limit of his movement right there. The ball, well, kolian can get to the ball where it is.
Troll Slayer getting himself right into trouble, but he's okay. He doesn't... Oh. Blitzer is able to dodge with IG3. They can do that sometimes.
That's not really the best square for him either, is it? He's got guard. The Longbeard behind the ball has guard, so a player running in and blocking the ball in that open corner is not going to get any assists. It's going to be -2, but that's not so bad for a dwarf team, right?
No, but it does also do a better job of covering the square above the runner in case kolian's able to knock down his team and get those spaces cleared up. So it kind of leaves only a -2 even with good POWs on. Though he's going to get a chain push
4,
here.
5, 6, 7.
To clear that up, which again, the chain push is a bit less worse with the...
You can block. Yeah, this block here. Maybe pushing one of these guys out of the way. It doesn't really change things. Pushing this guy down or out here just makes it worse for you. Pushing the runner farther away doesn't really help you catch him. Maybe following there is the wrong move because otherwise you could have just walked in and had a 1 die in the ball.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 1, 2, 3, hit. Yeah.
There was definitely a 1D right there on the ball if he wanted it. So I don't.
I guess
he probably just missed it because I missed it.
Yeah, he's either just playing fast and taking blocks, or doesn't really care enough. I mean, there's still under a lot of pressure, so
Only have
maybe,
2 rerolls
yeah,
too. Maybe you don't want to take that block so early in the half. It's a 1 day you don't want to have to reroll a skull right now because you would probably want to be rerolling a skull with a block on the carrier. But it does make it a bit easy for Jim to just kind of start moving to the right now.
yeah. I mean, you don't necessarily have to re-roll that either. I mean, if it's okay to not even go for it, then
Yeah.
it must be okay to not spend a re-roll trying to make it work. It's more of just take a flyer and see if you can roll a POW, and the runner has no skills, so it's 50-50 to get him down. That's not too bad.
Oh, it's fine.
It's like maybe he'll just he'll bring the runner back central. Troll Slayer probably a couple squares to the right as well, or no, Troll Slayer's gonna blitz. And he's still in a very solid defensive position here, Kolian.
Yeah, no, he's gotten a little bit better dice, and it's
Mhm.
been able to allow him to get some easier hits going on, and it's gonna make it a continued struggle for Jim to really get any forward progress that's safe. Player and stuff here.
Yeah.
And he is finally getting some knockdowns, which are really good for him right now, especially with that stun. Just to give himself some room he has not had this entire drive.
And Jim's left his second runner on the bench also for offense. So I guess that's long-term insurance if he needs that player to carry the ball in overtime. But it does mean,
Also theoretically means that if he's down again, if he's down a player or two, he has the chance for a 2-turn threat in overtime, or some kind of quick score to get the game over with quickly before Kolian's numbers advantage really catches up.
mhm. Okay, so it's taken him 3 turns, but he's recovered from that early double skull plus short kick, which is about what we thought it would take him, right? About 3 turns. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just a GFI to get some extra blocks in, and he's not going to reroll that.
The block there would have been nice to get this one more long beard
Right, hit this
removed
guy.
and
As it
everyone standing
is,
up and nicely screened off, but here we are.
mhm. As it is, knocking a couple of these guys out of the way might leave the right side a little bit too open. But Colin doesn't really have anybody convenient to get in there.
Skull finally stopping a KO. So far, the dwarf's been pretty KO prone, so that's a
Hmm.
real big surprise. The skull actually did something.
Yeah, we haven't seen a casualty yet. Both coaches still have their appos.
Do you upload the first KO of the second half at this point? If on a
Um,
skilled player?
Probably. If you're Jim, you might not because you still have a 12th man. And if you're looking at overtime, that means 2 KO rolls to get him back.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Colin, well, you only have one skilled player, but you probably you want to appo him.
Yeah.
That or the Troll Slayer as well. I mean, each team only has one Mighty Blow player as their Troll Slayer.
Here's the bribe coming in
Yeah,
onto the
he's
best
got
player to get counter removals.
right. He's got 3 assists on a weak but important
2.
player. Oh,
Just
2.
2
I'm sorry.
assists.
Yeah, this is not an assist. Come on, man. Obviously, but these 2 are 2 assists. Whatever. It was plenty enough to stun the man. And maybe you and I forgot, but Colleen certainly did not forget that a foul was on.
It's an okay foul. I mean, with a bribe,
Hmm.
you're gaining about 23 team value on average for the drive, so it was fine.
Yeah, and the Troll Slayer is one of the 2 best targets.
White Jim's also potentially going to get his numbers more even, and you don't really want that right now as kolian. You don't want your numbers going down at all. You don't want Jim to get even numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So
if the game goes long, if Jim's able to score at the end of the half here, things probably favor him just a little bit. At the moment, he still has an advantage in rerolls. Kolian has a lot of his team value tied up in a death roller that will play no further part in the game. Once you take the death roller off, Jim's team is a little better. He's got 2 blitzers, and they both have guard, so it gives him a guard advantage, an agility 3 advantage, a movement advantage, and a player KO'd
that's that Apo
disadvantage.
theory.
Yeah, I don't think he'll Apple this. Oh, I guess he will. What the hell do I know?
And not been a guard Longbeard, I don't think he does. Maybe even but it's too valuable a player right now. You want to have even numbers, you want to keep players up, so.
Every Longbeard's a guard Longbeard.
Yeah, does Jim have any players that don't have guard that are other than his runners?
He might have one, but I think, well, I can't even tell by looking at the screen, but I think every single one of his Longbeards has guard.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, I think all of Jim's players that aren't the Troll Slayer or the runners have guard.
Yeah, so 9 guard players.
Yes.
Maybe there's one because I wanted to say he just had 8. Actually, the way to do this is to go pull up his team over on desktop number 1, and every single Longbeard has guard.
Okay.
8, 9, 10, 11. So he has 9 guard on his team and 12 players. It does simplify things a little bit. You don't have to wonder which dwarf to position where, because they're all exactly the same.
I would say so far through this half, kolian has had slightly better dice, but it hasn't been too critical yet. We'll see if it really changes. It turns around at any point. That terrific KFO game, we saw it reverse very quickly, very sharply,
and very hard. Yeah,
it can happen.
Where's Jim going from here? Does he have to just run backwards to the middle again? He's starting to run out of time.
Being disappointing.
He's not.
For a dwarf team, that'd not be happy, but probably what we're looking at. There's no way to blitz this runner down, so yeah, that's got to be the play at this point.
He's already blitzed as well with his Troll Slayer. So yeah, a little sad with only 3 turns left. Jim's starting to run out of time. He's got to make something happen quickly, but kolian has defended very well and does have a 1-man advantage. I brought it up a little earlier. Jim's second runner is not on the field right now. That means no runner-to-runner desperation 3+ elf ball. And Jim's just got to punch a way through, and he's got to do it quickly.
Yeah, he's got 3 turns now to get the ball up the field. Has no secondary runner to even threaten some kind of passing play. And with Very Sunny, that obviously was even less likely to happen. So, looking very good for kolian.
If you can get a couple of knockdowns here, maybe an armor break or 2, that's going to put Jim in at the point of desperation. Oh, there goes Lemon is good. Jim's used his Apo already and can't do anything about that.
It seems a bit silly, but in these kind of mirror matchups, those 1 or 2 Cas really can just be kind of the end of the game. Because it just becomes so very hard when you're playing at the same level, just to be down material.
Yeah.
Especially.
And the defense knows what you're going to do because you've run out of time and you don't have a lot of choices left.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe the runner is going to want to come maybe back central, or does that give up a little bit too much space on the right side?
I think you can't have the. You don't want to give Jim any easy way to get side to side here, so you just go ahead and cover it up.
Mhm. Well, that's a very useful POW. It makes it difficult to impossible for Jim to go up and to the left as well. Uh,
Yeah,
that
this is looking very GG at this point, to be
yeah.
honest.
Sorry, Mr. Fantastic.
Overtime, I don't think. Yeah, even if he gets to overtime, I don't think he's gonna have an. He's gonna be very disadvantaged in overtime at this point.
Well, you could still have 10
Kick,
players.
maybe. Yeah, maybe he gets the kick, maybe 2 turns, but
Uh,
quite
I
poor.
I think the greater problem is actually getting to overtime, which is not going to be easy
Yeah,
for him. Another 1-9, really game. This is where you got to start re-rolling
yeah, this
stuff.
has been pretty rough. That's
Yeah,
I understand why he's not rerolling there, but
I
you
think I would
really
have.
just can't. But it's at a
You
certain point you do need to actually try to get to overtime
you can
for
still
it.
kind of set up here. It's not safe.
It's bad. It's bad setting
Yeah,
up there. Yeah, there goes the reroll.
another 1-9, really game. Another 1-6, really game. Yeah. Hate to call it a little early, but it does not look good for our hero, Mr. Fantastic here.
No, kolian now just has to basically clear out some. He can easily knock down this line and just kind of swamp this up, and it'll be
Yeah,
pretty.
doesn't have to do
Yeah,
anything
pretty.
fancy. He can just line things up. Hello
Mhm.
there, Mr. Volpes and Kalta, and the 5 raiders that you brought along with you. We're watching a dwarf mirror with Kolian and Jim. And the Kolian's first half went perfectly for him. Nice, comfortable 8-turn stall. In the second half, Jim's offense has not been the same. He's had a couple of unpleasant removals, and now he's kind of run up against a brick wall, 3 men down against an equal dwarf team. So it's Blood Bowl, and you roll some dice, and anything can happen. But it's looking like Colleen is going to move on, and Jim can go back to Underlords for another month. Everybody's happy.
You know what? Turns out all that practice in the dwarf mirror, the dwarf CCL did not pay out for Jim because his team still got cast.
uh,
So
See, that's the one thing you're supposed to learn is don't get cast. And you're a dwarf team with we said 9 guard, and you're facing an opponent with fewer guard and only 1 mighty blow. You'd have to like your chances of not losing too many players. But he's had 2 casualties and also an Apod KO right here in the second half on his offensive drive, and that's really slowed him to a crawl. And his dice have been pretty shitty as well.
they just haven't been as what he's needed them to be.
Right. Troll Slayer going off to be a agility 2 scoring threat. Nope, never mind. He's out of the game. And
I don't know if he needed to do that GFI. I understand why he did it. It makes it, but I don't think that GFI was a smart
1, 2,
decision because he
3,
was in
4,
scoring
5,
range
6.
regardless.
Right. Uh, whoop.
Poor choice, and that's just gonna be the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Jim's conceded. Which is not unreasonable. I mean, let's just get it over with. The game is basically decided already. So 10 armor breaks into 2 KOs and 2 injuries. Jim was only able to roll 6 armor breaks over the course of that entire match. And pretty disappointing. We didn't actually get to see our over on the number of blocks. We only got 124, but the game did end a little early. So I'm going to add a bit to that and say we got about 140. No
Yeah.
SPP. Every game I click on SPP to see what's happening, and it's always just a blank screen. I don't know why I do that, but I just can't stop myself. The dice look. Block dice look.
Yeah, I can see why Jim might be a little bit hard done by the
Yeah.
dice getting rolled 27 skulls and 14 pows. Not great.
Yeah, that's rough. And 27 skulls and 22 pushes, by the way. That's
Yeah.
that's really harsh.